welcome to the show. Welcome to Talking Reckless 315. My name is Matt Eads. I'm joined by Hinged Nutria.
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Very well.
Hello, Hinged.
I was wondering if we should go with Mr. Nutria. I didn't know if it seemed disrespectful. Well, thank you very much for joining us. Brandon Lynch is here.
Hi, I'm happy to be here on the same show as Mr. Nutria.
It's an honor for all of us, really. Big day. And Warren Barris, we brought a broadcast professional in to conduct this professional media interview.
Also very excited to be in the presence of Mrs. Nutria's baby boy.
Yes, we promised it. We've been teasing it for weeks, for months even, and here he is. Ladies and gentlemen, Hinge Nutria, here to tell us all about it.
I'm feeling that pretty soon I'm going to become unhinged Nutria if we don't settle down here a little bit.
The world is not ready.
He's evolving.
Oh man, it's Kevin Byer. He had to make a Xbox Live account for the first. I could have sworn you already had a Xbox Live account, but
I had one back in the 360 days, but I probably haven't logged onto it in like at least 8 years, probably.
They don't expire. It'd still be. There's no best before date on those. You could have probably logged back into that one, assuming you have the email address.
It auto-logged me into it, but my name is now Hinged Nutria for some reason.
Oh, maybe this is the original one, and then whatever you were before was taken.
It was probably expired or something because I didn't log in for so long.
Well, great news! You get a free name change.
I already took it.
Oh, that you locked in Hinge Nutria,
Which
the capitals on the H, capital on the N. How's your week been, gentlemen? Everyone knows how the world is. We're in.
Yes, time does not exist.
Nope. April is.
Yeah, you're telling me
2020 is a third done at this point.
Exist.
Yeah, it's fucked. It's like like me and Warren always say, it's not that much different than our regular routine. Me and Warren are still considered essential services and go to work every day, and then we come home and play games every night, as we do 9 times out of 10 when things are normal. But there's just something weighty about not having a choice, where it's just like, oh my god, this could go to like August. This could go forever.
Yeah, I'm very, very much in the Groundhog Day. Wake up, leave my room, come into this living room, play video games on the stream, stop, sometimes play video games, just for myself a little, or do whatever I'm going to do that evening, watch TV or read a little bit or whatever, go to bed, wake up, repeat. And I might have been doing this. It's impossible to say. It could be years at this point. It could have been 3 days. It could have been a year straight.
It's fucking insane. Like, when I think I was on the last podcast and thinking about that last podcast, I'm like, how was that a week ago? That feels like forever ago. I was working on the fucking dock today being like, what have I played? Well, I fucking remember I got way into Animal Crossing for the first time, and I was like, oh fuck, this is bad. I don't know when our last podcast was. I don't know when games came out. I don't know what order I played them in. I played Ori and the Blind Forest this year.
Is that really this year? Wasn't that like 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Didn't that just come out?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago.
In March. Sometime in March, I think.
Is anybody picking up any like new habits or anything and all this newfound free time? Anything to help fill the void?
No, I mean,
I
started playing video games.
Gross.
I feel like I'm conscious of changing my pants more.
Like when it happens, you really notice it. You're like, wow, this is new pants
or
day.
Like I'll like sometimes wear the same pair of jeans like multiple days in a week, as I think most people do.
Oh, sure.
But like now it's very much like I take my clothes off at the end of the day. I'm like, these are infected potentially. Get them away from me. onto the fresh jeans.
I've to burn every pair as soon as you take it off.
Yeah,
I've just hear the fucking screams of all the germs.
I stopped. That doesn't really. I don't think that kills. Does that kill Corona?
That's a real thing. That's a real thing.
That's a way to clean.
Bacteria.
It doesn't. So it's a way to clean denim for sure.
It's a real thing.
Mr. Food Safety Prep here, who was kitchen manager for a long time, is going to tell you that cold inhibits growth of bad bugs, but it doesn't kill them. So if you have, contaminated chicken and you put it in the freezer, you still can't eat that contaminated chicken.
So there you go. You got to freeze it first and then burn it afterwards.
Exactly.
Mm.
I saw, I think it's 100, I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit. I think it's 70 degrees Celsius, apparently. If you put your oven to 70 Celsius, that is a hot enough temperature to, I forget, there's a certain amount of time. Look it up. It's how you're supposed to sterilize your mask. If you have a cloth mask that you're using, you put it in the oven for a degree of time, and it's supposed to sterilize it.
It's not going to catch fire or anything?
It's supposed to be cool enough that it doesn't catch fire. It's like 70's hot, but not that hot. Not burst into flames hot, All that said, dude, do your research. Don't just put your jeans in your oven and burn your house down. I stopped shaving my head. I think until we get justice for society, I don't know. Get justice for Han. And maybe, well, if we're still locked inside. Okay. Yeah, I stopped shaving my head. I'm going to grow my hair a little bit and see. I want to see my hair. It's been literally 10 years.
Yes. I'm so on board for this.
Yeah, it's not going to go crazy. Like, I know you're hoping it gets, like, real... It's not going to go crazy. I'll still keep it pretty buzzed.
You go full on skullet, brother. You just let it fly.
Yeah, it would be a skullet. It's pretty thin on top. It's disturbingly thin on top.
Yeah, because you shaved it all off before you even really went bald, so you don't even know how bad it is.
Yeah, so this is like...
What if you got better at growing hair in that time?
I'd probably grow it back, honestly. That'd be dope. You're like, oh, wow, it's so thick and full. Yeah, it's been literally 10 years since I've had hair, so it'll be... It already is quite the... It's been like, I think like 10 days, and it's already... I got probably like half an inch going. It's gray. Holy shit, is it ever gray on the sides. It's going to be wild when it grows out. It's been a rough 10 years, apparently, that I've gone completely fucking gray and mostly bald.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah, my dad grayed really, really young. He was like, he's had white hair since he was 30, so... I'm right around there. Kevin, what are you doing? Just video games to fill the void? Working from home? How's the adjustment been?
It's very strange, because there's no disconnect anymore. It's like when I would get up in the morning, be like, okay, I have to, get in, go to work, drive to work, and then at the end of the day, you drive home. You have that little bit of drive time where you can unwind or whatever at the end of a day. But now it's just, I wake up, don't even have to put pants on, put my house coat on, head into the basement where I have my work computer set up, just sit there for a little while, and then immediately get off work and go smoke a bowl or something. So it's like, it saves me a bunch of time, but I don't like the idea of my work being at my house.
Yeah, it's tough.
It's like, because now like I can't leave it because it's always there.
Feels like you can't even
separation.
Feels like you can't even use that room anymore. If you're just like sitting down there watching TV, it feels like you're at work in a way.
It does. It totally does. And like when I get off work, my phone until we're closed, because I don't work open to close, I work like in the middle. The phone still rings when we're in work hours, and I'll be off work, and it'll be like the phone's ringing, and I'm like, well, I'm at home, and I'm already baked, so
ain't no chance in hell I'm answering this.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just that added breaks you out of the I'm off work now mode, right? Because it's like you hear the phone ring, and it shouldn't be ringing.
So when the phone rings, does it ring in for everybody?
Yeah, it rings for everybody.
And then just whoever picks up first? Have you ever picked up like at the same time as someone and been like be able to hear them talking? That's probably not a thing.
No, it's totally not a thing.
Yeah.
That used to be how phones worked. Totally used to be how phones work, because you could always like, sometimes you hear it go, and you'd be like, Mom, I know you're listening. Put the receiver down.
Well, I mean, that's when you have one line. We have like 80, so I think we're good.
Hearing a phone ring would be genuinely shocking. Of like, when was the last time anybody heard a real deal physical sits on the table phone? Unless you work in an office, I suppose. Off? Yeah.
It's crazy because there's so many different, like, I remember when, well, I shouldn't say I remember when it changed, but when I was growing up, there were so many different like ring styles. Like there was like kind of the digital one that kind of sat like ass down in the charger. And then there was the ones that like hung on walls, and there was the ones that were still like the older ones that like
Literal
were
bells in
hanging
them.
across the top. Yeah, like it was crazy. And then all of a sudden, no one had them. I remember my mom was like, "We're not gonna have a landline," and I'm like, "What? How the fuck is that gonna work? You've gone fucking insane." And then she's like, "No, we're like one of the last families to have a landline," and I'm like, "Oh, okay."
My parents had theirs until like really recently, a couple years maybe. They finally got rid of it.
Mine still have theirs.
Yeah, mine still have theirs too.
It's hard
It'll
to
never get rid of.
You always remember those numbers. So like, if I own the phone number, I would just keep it because like I always remember those numbers. I can always call that number, and I'll always be able to call whoever has that line.
Mm-hmm.
I still remember a lot of my friends' phone numbers too from growing
See,
up.
I don't. I used to be really good with that, and now I just only remember like my parents and my grandparents. Those are the only two numbers that I have off the top of my head.
I have a few. Like my like childhood friends are like the only numbers that I know off the top of my head, except for my mom's cell, are like phone numbers that they don't even have anymore from the days of remembering phone numbers.
Truly wild times.
Mm-hmm.
Phones.
Kevin, sorry.
Damn it.
To go back to something, just a little nugget that I noticed that you mentioned that I'm curious about. What is this whole process of working at home? Because you mentioned you don't wear pants anymore. How does this affect the sleeping in specific clothes rule?
Yeah, if you wake up naked, if you go to bed naked, do you just go to work naked?
The rest of the day is a naked day. Yeah,
Oh
there you
shit!
Right on, right on. God, I'm so jealous of that.
It's actually not true. If I had everything set up upstairs, I could totally work naked. But it's just a little bit too cold in the basement.
And upstairs, where like you don't actually have blinds, you just kind of have those. They make it a little hard to see through the window.
Podcast Cat is just getting a show right now.
Oh yeah, let me tell you.
What about video games, Kevin? You play any video games?
I've been playing.
Actually, before we dive into it, do we maybe want to do some Final Fantasy VII remake talk here?
Yeah, just get it out of the way.
Yeah, how many of us have... Oh, actually, not as many of us have played it as I thought.
No, just me and you.
Yeah, I guess we can just... I thought there was going to be three of us kind of getting in on it. You know, you carry on. Why don't you make the path, Kevin? You know, why you live your life
We'll
today?
get there naturally.
Yeah.
We won't force it. Yeah.
Make the path, he says.
Oh.
Segue.
So I've been playing some League of Legends.
You asshole.
That's very bad. Bravo.
Yeah, like mostly because of the whole quarantine thing. So like a bunch of people who, you know, like one friend who I used to live with, we don't really get to see each other very often anymore. And even kind of before quarantine, we kind of got together like once every month, if that kind of thing. But now with quarantine, everybody's reaching out and trying to figure ways to stay connected to people. So a bunch of us who played League of Legends back in like 2012 or whenever it was, like all those years ago, we all kind of get together now and play a couple times a week kind of thing. So 3 or 4 of us, whoever's really on kind of thing, we play some ARAMs and just shoot the shit.
Any interest in the League group of getting into Riot's hot new shooter Valorant?
This is the first I've heard of it, so I'm gonna say no.
It you know, Counter-Strike? Remember Counter-Strike? 6-on-6?
Oh yeah, I remember.
You get money,
Counter-Strike.
you plant a
That's the one with scout
bomb.
knives.
That's the one with scout knives. It's Counter-Strike. It's exactly Counter-Strike, but what if they made the things like smoke bombs and Molotov cocktails into Overwatch-like powers?
All right, well,
Hell yes.
I think I'm on board.
Yeah, it seems pretty dope. Actually, it seems. I've right now it's in like early or I don't know what they call it, beta maybe. I don't think it's technically early access. But the only way to get a key is to watch these streams that are streaming it and have drops enabled. Like you basically have to set up a bot to watch streams for you, which is fucking maddening. But got my little buddies going. Maybe I shouldn't say this out loud on Twitch Live, but I'm working hard for my key, we'll say.
Just like people randomly give them away, and you just have to be in chat at the time, kind of thing, or.
So I'm not sure how. It's not people. The company Riot gives them away, and it seems like you are. It seems like your eligibility, it seems like they give away a random amount of keys at certain times, and your eligibility seems to increase based on how many hours of Valorant you have watched on Twitch, on the drops-enabled channels, which is kind of. It's good for them, I suppose. A lot of people watching Valorant. A lot of people.
There you go. So yeah, I've been playing that a bit. I've also been playing some Octopath Traveler.
Oh, that would have been a good segue from the path thing you said.
Weird.
Oh damn, I totally didn't get where you were going with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we started playing that on stream a little over a week ago, I guess a week and a half as of airtime. But yeah, that game is really, really good.
The only game so compelling that Kevin streamed not only on Thursday, but then again in the week.
Oh shit!
Yeah, two other days.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
First time in a lot of years that's ever happened.
Yeah. I think the other one was Ark. I played a few extra streams of Ark on days that weren't Thursdays. But I think that was it. Just these two.
These are the two greatest games ever made, Ark and Octopath Traveler.
It seems to be, yeah.
You're playing the PC ports.
Yeah, PC version. So we're still super early. It's a game where you kind of pick a starting character who all has different like class roles or whatever. The person I picked was a cleric who was going on a pilgrimage to bring this divine flame to light some things that need lighting along the way.
Bonfires?
Really.
Dark Souls? Are you talking about Dark Souls?
Pretty much like bonfires. Yeah, pretty much exactly like Dark Souls from what I hear. So we're kind of just wandering around the world map right now, getting all of our initial travelers, the initial characters that you can play as. Incidentally, there's 8 of them.
Do you play all 8 in every playthrough? Like, do you get all 8 of them and then make your party?
I honestly don't think so. I think you can beat the game with just the one person recruited. I think I want to say the speedruns. I haven't actually watched a speedrun of it because obviously I don't want to spoil anything for myself, but I think the speedruns are like single character and you just play through as one character.
Oh wow.
And finish the storyline and then that's considered done.
It's a shame we don't have Andy here. He's a Octopath expert.
Oh, sweet. If I have any questions, I can throw them his way. But yeah, so my class role as my girl Ophelia, who, for those of you who haven't actually watched, namely maybe Eads might not know if you didn't notice.
What? But my girl
what
Feely?
Do you think? Oh, I was gonna ask what you think Ophelia shortens down to.
Well, if Felix shortens to Fee, I mean that's already taken. So yeah, Ophelia down to Feely.
I thought it was gonna be Opie.
Opie?
Opie.
That was pretty good.
What does there's an Opie? Is Opie short for anything in what is that show with the motorcycles? Sons of Anarchy?
Sons of Anarchy.
Is that
Opie is short for Opie, but I think that's his. I think Opie's as long as it ever got. Open.
Turns out, it was actually short for Ophelia.
Yeah, that's one of the dwarves. I think I remember this from Nerd Trivia, and Feely is one of the dwarves.
That's probably true. But yeah, her nickname is Feely, which really weirded me out the first time I heard it, but eventually grew on me. So yeah, her ability is she can walk up to anyone you can talk to in the game. If you can talk to them if they have a speech bubble. There's like NPCs that you can't talk to that are just background kind of thing. But her thing is anybody who has the speech bubble above her head, you can recruit them to join your party for a short time. And then they do things for you, like cast spells or heal you or attack with swords kind of thing.
You summon them?
That's
almost?
You summon them, yes. So yeah, we've been going around collecting we have 4 characters so far, 4 of the 8.
And they all have,
that game,
like they all have super different abilities, right? The cleric can recruit people or whatever.
The cleric recruits people. We have a huntress who can summon beasts that you capture in the wild to fight. We also have a scholar type mage who can cast a bunch of spells and who can scrutinize people to figure out their hidden secrets. Oh yeah, the huntress chick can also beat people up in town, just because we beat up this 86-year-old lady. She was a grandma.
Did you win?
So we attacked her with wolves. And then there was also a 23-year-old pregnant woman, and we also attacked her with wolves.
So are you like
Good
scrutinizing these people to be like, you are this pregnant? Okay, well,
Yeah,
bring in the
you
wolves.
scrutinize them and you get a little bit of their background.
Is
And
there no
then
hero of this story to stop you?
we are the heroes. These people love this shit.
That is mean.
And then the other person we have is a thief who can steal from everybody. So I'm not too
Including
sure,
the handicapped.
including the pregnant and the handicap. Yes.
Shame
but I mean,
on you.
if they're not going to miss it.
Oh,
They
someone
exist in the game.
pregnant
only
lady.
to be a loot box for me,
Okay, or a summon,
or a
or
summon, yes.
one of the other whatever. How many roles you haven't seen? Probably interact with people in some weird way.
Yeah. There's 4 roles I haven't seen yet. I know one of them is like a merchant class because that was one of the other classes we considered starting with was the merchant backstory girl.
I know one of them is definitely dancing.
yeah.
because we were gonna call it dancing and dangles.
That's true. There is a dancer as well, but I'm not too sure what that involves. So yeah, we have at least we've kind of been getting one person unlocked per stream is how it's been working. Because it's about 2 hours to do the storyline quest for that character and then kind of make your way to the next zone to get the next character. So it'll be at least 4 more streams. I won't say weeks because who knows when I'll be streaming it. But yeah, it'll be at least 4 more before we get the whole team together, and then we can kind of see what the game really has to offer. Because like we're somewhat still in the tutorial phase of the game where we're just picking up all the characters who have all the different abilities and kind of learning what they do. So
Yeah, you barely have a what's 6 sexopath yet. Barely a sexopath traveler.
yeah, I'm just a for a path right now. We're a 4-path traveler.
Quadrupath?
That's the one, quadrupath.
Tune in
so yeah,
Thursdays to the old Twitch stream.
there you go, and hidden mystery streams that may or may not happen at any given moment. But other than that, I have put hands on the Final Fantasy VII Remake.
I've also put hands on Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yes.
I guess before we get into Final Fantasy VII Remake, before I started playing this game, I was kind of talking this out with Brando, trying to just reconcile it with myself and using him as a backboard to bounce stuff off of.
Yes.
Folks who have finished Final Fantasy VII Remake have, in very oblique terms, not to spoil anything, which I very much appreciate, have told me that I probably want to play the original Final Fantasy VII before the remake. And again, I don't know what it is, and I'm going to intentionally say very vague, but I guess there's a very considerable thing or series of things in the ending. I'm trying to think how it was described to me. It having not played the original, I will apparently they will just use like maybe it's a proper noun or something that I won't know what it is until the very, very, very end, when apparently they finally say, "Oh, this is what this is."
Oh, I can almost already imagine what it probably is.
Yeah, if I've said too much, I apologize.
No, that's something that I've already been kind of throwing around in the back of my head ever since even the opening movie cutscene of the game.
Yeah, so
It's like, I wonder when they were going to talk about this. And I could be totally wrong, but...
So between the three of us, Brandon, I don't think you haven't started 7 Remake, but you're going to soon.
Yeah. I guess not to interrupt, but kind of where I've landed, barring a change, is I want to watch some sort of maybe cutscene package, maybe supplemented with someone telling me everything that happened in the not cutscenes or something. I know there's hundreds and hundreds of videos on there. So if I can find the right one, I basically want something that can tell me everything I need to know to feel like I got a story experience from Final Fantasy VII, because I am not going back to play that game.
Yeah, I'm kind of not.
It still
going
holds
back
up really
either.
well for like a RPG style game. It's still really well done. So if you do enjoy those type of games, it is a good one to go back to.
I don't know if I do enjoy those type of games. I also don't know where I would play it.
It's on. It is on Steam.
There's a
so
PS3. There's a PS3 version, and yeah, there's a Steam version as well.
and I think there is.
You gotta run it on my fucking
version.
MacBook Air.
Isn't the iPad? Didn't the iPad version get ported to PS4? Isn't there a PS4 version on the PSN?
I don't think there's an iPad version of 7. I know some of the earlier ones have iPad versions, but I don't know if there's one for 7. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, you could get it on the PlayStation 4 store. 20,
Oh, really? Then
20,
maybe
$20, yeah.
Maybe my PlayStation 3 version will cross over to PlayStation 4.
So as we start to, I guess the three of us, as a podcast, kind of get through Final Fantasy VII, I'm going in with 0 foreknowledge. Not 0, like obviously I picked stuff up over osmosis throughout the years, and I have watched Advent Children years and years and years ago, although I don't remember really. I know that follows 7. That's not the events of 7. Miranda will have cursory knowledge, and Kevin will have played 7, and we'll have kind of a good spread of knowledge going in. And I'm really, really curious if I'm kind of worried that not knowing the original Final Fantasy VII, if I'm going to hate whatever the thing is. I don't know.
I mean, they have said that they've mixed up story beats and like changed it enough, so...
Yeah. I wonder if the obvious thing in my head is like characters who died or lived previously will have different fates, and not knowing that'll just fly right past me. But at the same time, like,
yeah, that's not really a big deal, though, right?
Exact. That's kind of where my head's at too.
For different reasons.
Yeah, and like I don't know any of the story beats, so I get to enjoy all the stuff on the way up, and like I don't know any of the characters at all, and I get to enjoy kind of all the twists and the way the story goes leading into it, which is really fun. And just as a final defense to convince myself, I started the Metal Gear Solid series, which I love, is very near and dear to my heart, at 4, which is like just a nostalgia-filled fucking fan service ride, and still really love that series, so if I can do that, I think I can. Listen, settle down, Final Fantasy nerds. I think I'll be okay.
Yes, everyone check yourself.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I'm a little bit apprehensive about it, but also I'm enjoying it very much.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. It looks amazing.
Yeah, the opening especially looks like that, and maybe it's because it was for the demo. That Midgar area is like, whew, or not Midgar, sorry, that factory thing, that power plant, the train and the spider mech, and that little opening demo section is like super immaculately rendered.
Yeah, and it even seems like the Sector 7 slums and everything, just going through there, looking at everything that they did with the backgrounds and everything. It looks like they clearly put in a lot of effort in the details. Yeah,
you can. There are some spots you can tell it's running on a base PS4, and you can tell where they had to cheat. Where there are some, and this is really nitpicky, but like it's because everything is so beautiful, and then you see like the door to the like apartment the Cloud stays in the slum. It just has no texture. There's just no texture on that door at all. You're like, that's weird. This like ultra realistic anime boy is opening this super fake computer door.
It's just the type of paint that they have on it.
Yeah, that's how they paint in Midgar.
Sector 7 slums paint. What can you do?
So you and I are we're almost exactly the same spot. We're about, it's like 4.5, 5 hours somewhere in the game. Just starting chapter 4.
Yeah, I'm at the very, very tail end of chapter 3. I think I have one more thing to do before that's over.
Boy, I don't really know. It's hard to talk about where it's a new game, but it's not a new game, and I don't want to. Can you, without saying anything, I guess, Kevin, can you tell me, has everything that's happened thus far been true to the original?
The way that it feels to me is this game feels like you have a lot more of the in-between stuff that's going on. Whereas the original game was a lot of big thing happens, and then there's a small dialogue scene, and then big thing happens kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Whereas this one, even the side quest things that they have us doing in Chapter 3, just kind of as Cloud comes to this area for the first time, that feels really, really organic and what should happen in a situation like that. Whereas the original, and this isn't a knock to it in any way, but the original was like walking and fighting things along to the next big blow up the reactor set piece kind of thing.
Yeah. And then this one, like you say, this one does have a lot of I think they're just called quests. You have like your story missions, and then you have quests, and the quests are kind of the side stuff. I'll say they seem super worth doing because everything's fully voiced, which is cool. And I did all the side quests in the first area, and I got a it was called a discovery. It was like a nice, it was just a little cutscene kind of like well, it wasn't that little, it was pretty sizable, but like a nice character moment that I'm glad I saw after the fact. So it seems like those are definitely worth doing.
Oh, did that show up because of finishing all the quests?
I think so.
Yeah, because I was just kind of running around doing all the quests. I wasn't really paying attention too much to what was really on the minimap, and then I opened my minimap after doing them all and saw that little thing was there. So obviously I went and did it, but yeah, I didn't notice too much about when it showed up. So maybe if there's a bunch of side quests and missions like that in Chapter 4, maybe I'll pay closer attention to it.
Yeah. Boy, what else can I really say about it? I like the characters a lot. I think Tifa looks a little ridiculous when you first meet her. But the world, everybody in the world, like the characters, NPCs are. She has a very large chest. I'm sure you know. And is very fit and wears a tiny little mini skirt.
Sexopath.
And there was a whole controversy about the size of her bosom before this game came out. And even all the NPCs in the game are like, "Hey, Tifa, mind if I stop by later?" Like that is literally one of the lines that you keep hearing. And partly because of the memes, and partly just because of who I am, and like this is my least favorite things about anime. And make no mistake, this game is capital A anime. But they kind of get over it really fast in a way that it's interesting to experience. They acknowledge it and just kind of move on in a way where like the characters might as well be like, "Come on, guys, grow up," and then everybody kind of grows up, and it's totally fine.
I mean, the character Tifa happens to have big boobs.
They're very big.
Some people have big boobs.
It's true. It's
That's
very
a real
true.
thing.
It's very, very true. It's just, you'll see when you start playing, you'll see that she animates in a very weird way where she's like constantly kind of doing the like boy, I would
she likes crossing her arms and she likes leaning forward.
Yeah, it's like I'm a Japanese tourist taking a picture, and I'm gonna kick one leg out, and I'm gonna make a peace sign, and I'm gonna close an eye at the camera, and like kind of keeps doing that until this sort of like until this like grow up moment happens. She probably still does it, honestly, but I just kind of got past it. But those guys, like the cast, I don't know how fleshed out they were or what in the original 7, but the cast seemed fun. I don't know. I like everyone I've interacted with.
I really like Barrett and Flower Peddler. I'm a big fan of Flower Peddler.
Flower Peddler, methed out Flower Peddler's really fun. It's anime. It's so anime, and I kind of like anime. Well, I mean, we're in a safe spot. I like anime, you guys.
I'm excited to see how many of the characters from the first game kind of make their way into this game, because this is another one of those things where it's like, how do I talk around this? But the game came out 20 years ago, so a lot of the characters in the original, not necessarily how it's going to happen in this one, but a lot of characters that you play as in the original you don't meet in the starting city. So I'm interested to see if there's a way that they work those characters in, because they do with some characters already.
Oh, okay, weird. So some characters that we see already were not originally in the beginning part of Final Fantasy VII.
No.
Oh, interesting.
So
I as far as I know, this is part 1 of X. Like, this is not the full game, as far as I understand it.
And they even, and this might have been me imagining it, but I would imagine that they would have told everyone, like, hey, we need to introduce certain characters in the first game, because if we don't, and then we just throw a character on you in the second game, that would feel real gross.
Yeah.
If you can get through the entire first game and then only find out about the big bad in the second game.
Yeah, it's really hard to talk around. It's really hard to talk around, where even when you were on stream today, I was asking you a few questions about, like, is this the same as... This is weird to experience now. Is this the same as it was? You're like, oh, it's all the same. But it seems very good. It seems very well made. That combat is frantic, and I sort of hated it for the first hour, but I feel like I've kind of got a sense of how to do it well now. It's hard when you have 3 characters. The AI, I've noticed, seems like it kind of just doesn't do anything. They seem like they just stand there and don't even attack sometimes. They just hang out, which is frustrating.
Let me explain, because I did start the game in classic mode, or whatever it is they call it, where you can where it fights for you, right?
Yeah, I think that's classic. Yep.
Okay. So I selected that mode, and for the first like 2 or 3 fights, I let it play out. But it seemed like your AI character would only ever auto attack one little burst combo every time you get an ATP gauge fill up. So you would stand there, and then your ATP gauge would fill up, and then you would get a basic attack combo, and then you'd stop again, and then you'd wait, and then you'd get an ATP gauge fill up, and then you'd combo, you do a little basic attack combo, and then you wait.
Just like the original. Just waiting for your gauge to fill.
It did feel a little bit like that, but about 2 or 3 fights in, I'm like, well, I know I picked this, but could I still move around in combat? And you can. So even if you're on classic, you can still take control at any moment. So I'm technically playing on classic because I don't think I can change it anymore. But I've decided to get involved in the combat.
Yeah. I'm playing on normal, which is exactly the same as classic, but your character doesn't move under its own volition. It's okay. I don't know. That
On the Steam page for the original Final Fantasy VII, is this a port or is this a remake?
It is I want to say the original Final Fantasy came out in 2001. And I want to say the PC version came out like the year later. So it is
the original.
It's supposed to be a remake.
7?
The original 7, yeah.
Didn't that come out in 97?
This says the release date was July 4th,
97?
2013.
I'm pretty sure Final
Oh, yeah,
Fantasy
maybe it
7
was 97.
Yeah.
Yeah, because yeah, that's right.
I don't know. I think I'm looking it up right now. I think there is something weird. Maybe that was the game Kevin played. Was it 6? Final Fantasy 7 6? Motorcycles, gentlemen. Here they go.
No, there goes Opie.
Whichever Final Fantasy you played on Steam, Kev, I know was the port of. It was the iPad version ported to PC, which was weird.
Yes, that was Final Fantasy 6. But no, there was an original PC version as well, which is probably what the Steam version is.
Yeah, I'm looking. Are
there snowboarding in this game?
There is snowboarding in this game. Oh wait, the new one? I'm not sure. I haven't gone snowboarding yet.
There appear to be multiple versions of the original Final Fantasy VII on Steam as well, I'm seeing, which is interesting. One of them, $7 more than the other. What the fuck is going on?
Here's a picture of Cloud using a Terraflare.
Oh,
which,
whoa, spoilers.
As I know it, a far inferior version of the spell that Donald Duck uses in Kingdom Hearts 3. The Zeta Flare.
Oh. I thought, I didn't know if this was going Kingdom Hearts, this was going Dragon Ball.
I thought it was going to go Octo
It's a fine line.
That's very true.
No.
Warren, you ever think about playing Final Fantasy VII? Remake?
No, sir.
No?
I have no interest in it whatsoever.
Man hates
personally.
anime.
I'm not a big anime guy, you're right.
Yeah. We'll bring you around. You'll come around. Everybody grows into it at some point in their lives.
Mm-hmm.
Like wrestling.
You grow out of it and then
it's just like wrestling. You grow into it and then you get like estranged and disgusted by it.
I also don't tend to like those style of games either, in general, regardless of what art style they are, so that's why it's not really
fair enough.
Not really doing anything for me.
This is Matt's first Final Fantasy, with the exception of whatever of 15 I played.
It's mine too.
Yeah, a good one to start. Seems like a good entry point. What might kind of end up being, I'm worried it'll end up being a sequel to Final Fantasy VII original, but the way kind of people talk about it. Enjoying it very much though. Seems very well made so far. I played darts. It's fucking hard. It's really hard.
I played darts too. I got 12.
Yeah, I also got 12 my first time, and then, I don't know if you were watching, I missed like, sealing the high score by 3 darts by, like, a pixel. I missed it by just, I needed the triple, and I just fucking whiffed her.
Damn.
Devastating.
That's impressive. Did you get any 180s?
No, does it say 180 if you get 180? 180!
I didn't get any either.
Cloud scream it just to himself.
Any closing thoughts here on Final Fantasy VII, Kev? I'll have we'll have more to report obviously as we get further into it.
Yeah, no, I'm really liking it. It's when I played the demo originally, I didn't think I would be able to play it because I really didn't like the combat. But I'm glad that I picked it up, and because I'm really enjoying it.
Hell yeah! What do you think of that soundtrack? Right before we move on, man.
Soundtrack's great.
Having not heard the original soundtrack, I gather those first few songs are kind of remixes, modernizations of the original, and holy shit, does that soundtrack slap!
I pop every single time that Barrett does the victory fanfare at the end of fights, where he just belts it out himself. That is hands down, so far, moment of the year.
Like he does I don't even have him in my party yet. You haven't heard, like, he does the do 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 do, like he just sings it. What the fuck?
Yeah,
he hasn't done that for me.
He did it. He does it a couple times, even during the demo mission.
Oh man, we're not on very good terms right now.
Yeah, you're gonna have to listen for it once you get him in your party.
We'll see. I don't like him very much. He's gonna stay in the back. Warren, how have you been, my friend?
Hello. Good. How are you, Matt?
I'm getting by. Some days quite good. Other days, it's a struggle. It's a struggle.
It's true.
Terrible.
It's very strange times. Very strange times that we find ourselves in.
We got a bit of mic. Is somebody touching their mic? We got a bit of mic noise I've been noticing.
I just put my glass down onto my table.
Oh, that's probably 100% what it is. 100%.
Okay, I'll put it on my most tab, my most pad.
We're gonna have to get you some kind of a floating desk or a floating mic, one of the two.
Or a floating glass.
Oh, that would work too, yeah. Tell me about Tetris 99, Warren.
That's a dope ass game.
Yeah.
I've really been really lately picking up the Switch a lot more than I have since I got it. Just like kind of like throwing on some old TV shows. I've been doing a lot of nostalgia binge watching on the Disney Plus. A lot of childhood favorites that I've been watching. I'll just throw them on and kind of rock the Switch, do my daily chores in the Animal Crossing, and then slide over some 99.
What's your Disney Disney comfort binging?
I crushed through all 3 seasons of Smart Guy already.
Oh, not intimately familiar. Was Even Stevens a Disney? Is that a Disney thing?
That's on there. That's on my list.
On there.
Yeah, I remember. Is that a young Shia LaBeouf in?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
Great. Yep, I used to watch that as a kid.
Yeah, I remember it being very super funny as a kid, and I'm almost nervous to watch it now because it's probably not funny at all.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You could probably say that about
We'll find out.
90% of that stuff that is on there, where it
It's
probably
true.
doesn't hold up in terms of the humor.
I still laughed out loud several times at my favorite character in Smart Guy, so that makes me feel a little bit more confident, but I guess we'll find out.
It'd be like that
what else
time
did I watch?
Kev and I tried and Kev did watch all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 1. I was like, man, this is for 5-year-olds.
God.
I gotta go.
I got
Lord.
I got like 1 or 2 episodes into season 2, and then I'm just like can't
Season
do
1
it
is
anymore.
50 fucking episodes, 20 minutes each.
That's anime.
Jesus Christ.
It's anime!
It's here.
That's how they do.
How's the Tetris 99 scene? The competition still stiff?
It's yeah, I mean, I obviously only played at night, so that time change will obviously be a factor there, but that's it. I've had some pretty good games. I'm starting to figure it out a little bit better.
Got any
I got
wins? Whatever
third
there.
place.
Oh.
third place earlier this week, and I think a fourth last week. So
Oh shit.
and better, getting there. And then obviously I still have my like 93s and my 94s here and there. So
Well, that happens to the best of us.
it's a tough game.
Sometimes the best guy in that game just happens to stumble upon you first and make you feel like you're the worst fucking Tetris player in the world.
It's true. Yeah, it's
If
And
it
I,
were
like,
me playing, I would be the out first every single time.
Tetris 99, I guess we didn't say. If anybody doesn't know, is the Tetris Battle Royale on Nintendo Switch. 99 Tetris boards drop onto an island, and only one makes it out.
Mm-hmm.
I find
It's,
that I get too into like just playing the game that I forget to like change to attack and all that stuff, that I'm not worried about other people. I'm just like actually playing Tetris and trying to manage the fucking colossal failure that I've created.
Yes, Tetris as a game is fun enough that and I'm the same way, sometimes forget to interact with the Battle Royale aspect of it. And there's a lot of it that is a lot like any Battle Royale, where even when we were talking about the first guy, like running into the really good guy first, even when we're playing Apex, every now and then the champion squad will pop up, and it'll be like a team that has like 47 wins in a season. And all I can think is like, hopefully they run into the second best team and fucking fight, and then we just sneak up behind them and fucking gank them. And it's the exact same thing in Tetris, where I'm like, I just gotta hope that they don't see me coming because they're dealing with someone way better than me.
And like you say, there totally is Battle Royale mechanics to it, where you're incentivized to try and eliminate players who are struggling, because then you basically get better guns. You get power-ups that make you drop more trash for your opponent when you hit them, which is cool.
Just basically a multiplier system, which helps for sending and clearing garbage.
And just like a Battle Royale, everybody has their own loot, so if you kill someone, you get all their loot. So they have the best guns, you get their best guns. It's a neat, it's very neat. It's a neat idea. I remember us all
Super fun.
jokingly for a long time being like, 100 blanks drop onto an island. And I'm sure that in somewhere in there was 100 Tetraminos or whatever drop onto an island. But look
I'm sure it happened.
look
when
who's
we were
laughing
playing,
now.
When we were playing Tetris Effect. Had to have happened. You know what they need?
Almost certainly.
Fucking 99 Tetris Effect boards.
What if a circle formed around this Tetris board and got smaller and smaller?
Fuck.
I also played a bit of Sea of Thieves. Well, actually, quite a bit of Sea of Thieves since last we podcasted.
I forgot about that.
It's a video game.
Did you guys?
Ups and downs.
I saw you guys were playing a few days after we played on whatever day that was.
Yep.
There. Did you guys ever end up doing the Heart of Fire? Is that the new expansion?
I don't think so. I don't think we ever got that far down that path.
Stuff.
Did you guys end?
Our quest book was filling itself up, and we kept trying to bang stuff off. But I don't think, like, in terms of like the new content. So I was in a situation where we jumped in there, and I didn't remember where the packs were, where the new DLC came in a way that it felt like you kind of did, where you're like, well, this stuff is kind of the new stuff, and this stuff's kind of new. And even Andy was saying, well, this part of the map is the DLC part, and I'm like, I don't fucking know how you guys know this, but for me, all of this feels new, but also old because I had played it before.
The only reason I knew it was old was because I did that one we were doing, that Mistbreaker or whatever I had done previously.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys ever get that? Did you get that Mistbreaker thing done?
I have no idea. I don't think so.
Think so.
This would
No.
be bad for my next fall. Did you guys get any quests done? What do you get for finishing a quest?
Money.
Okay,
Use
what do you use?
cosmetics.
Okay. Cosmetics. Okay.
Yeah. Yes. The end game seems to be just decking out your dude, decking out your ship. We got a big shark on our ship now, which is kind of cool. Some new sails. I got a really fancy peacock coat, which I'm kind of digging. Yeah, the boys are looking good considering we went into that first game we played just fucking tattered clothes and shit. Yeah, Warren lost his leg.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
To the Kraken. Now my leg is made of Kraken because I took a bit of them with me.
I have a real love-hate relationship with that game in that, like, I feel like nothing that the game is laying out in front of me to follow is that good, but some of the stuff we just stumble into along the way is just like bust a gut funny. We had a situation one night we were playing where we saw two ships fighting each other with a Kraken in some sort of triple threat match. And we were going in and just following Andy Captain's orders, Captain Andy. And he was like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to fuck up that ship because it looks pretty fucked up. And then we're going to team up with this other ship and kill the Kraken.
Did you guys have mics so you could like use that horn and call over? You're in a party.
We were fucking praying that everyone was just miraculously on the same page. And we destroyed that first ship with minimal effort, which was good. It was having a rough time. And then the people from, I want to say, that ship got on our ship and started shooting the Kraken with us.
As their ship sunk.
As their ship sunk.
Kick them off your ship? What the hell?
Well, we were like, this is great. With the we got 4 cannons and only 2 people really firing. So now these other guys all the cannons are manned. Andy's piloting the boat. And we, like, there was a moment where the Kraken went down and it was just like the most fun I was having in video games. And then the guys who had got on our ship decided to absolutely fuck us, shoot us, kill us. And maybe destroy our ship in the process. I think that happened, but
I think so, yeah.
But man, for half an hour there, I was fucking having the time of my life.
That's the pirate life, I guess. Immediately get betrayed.
Yep.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing
we were saying.
Picked up on. Trust no one.
Yeah.
There was kind of this, like, we had this idea that, well, at port, we go to port, we're not gonna fuck each other at port. We're men of the sea. We're going to take our treasure. We will walk side by side with these other pirates and their treasure, and sell it, and we'll get back in our boats. And God forbid we find them in open waters because we'll kill them. But here at port, there's a gentleman's agreement. But no, we're the only people who think that. Other pirates will come up and just absolutely unload cannons on our docked boat and fuck us constantly.
Well, that's not acceptable.
No, we're men of the sea.
Whatever happened to the Pirates Code?
There are more guidelines than actual rules.
They should make them rules.
We should... This only applies to half this podcast, I realize. Kevin, we should do a pirate D&D thing.
Pirates are fun.
Pirates are super fun. That said, Sea of Thieves, not a fun enough pirate game for me. I don't know. I think Sea of Thieves boring.
I
super
find
boring.
that the most fun parts of that game for me personally are that stuff, that playing against other players, battling other ships, but the actual like missions and like the actual video game stuff is not very good
and
at
like
all. I find it super boring too.
The teamwork aspect is neat, and I sort of realized this as we were playing the other week there. The teamwork aspect is neat that it takes all of you to crew the ship, but the individual things you're doing on the ship are so boring of like, I'm just putting the sail up and down. If you're the captain, you're just staring at the back of a sail. I mean, like, are we going to hit a rock? All right, I'm going this way. All right, I'm going this way. Like the individual
really
moment to moment is
role-playing
so fucking... It really is a make your own fun type of...
Yeah.
I've just never been... that's the reason I play video games, is because I'm bad at making my own fun.
That's all D&D is.
Yeah, it's true. I've got 5 very talented other players in D&D, though, to just prop me up.
That's fair.
I don't know. Sea of Thieves. It's like we were saying that night we played. It's fun to get in every like 6 months and go, man, this water. Whew, this looks good.
Yeah.
All right, see you later.
Yeah. No, it's already like I would still jump in. Like I would jump in tonight for a bit if people wanted to. It's a good kind of chat room game, which is really never a good way to describe the actual quality of a video game, but it is a fun game to just like sit back on our boat and, unlike an Apex or a Rocket League, have time to shoot the shit about stuff that isn't the video game because it doesn't require as much attention.
Yeah, very social.
So some of that is a lot of fun, but yeah, I mean, it was near the end of the first time we played, I was getting tired of it. A little bit earlier, the second time we played, I was getting a little tired of it. It's just you need breaks. Lots and lots of breaks.
A little C
Good drinking game.
goes a long way. Yeah, it is an okay drinking game. I was drunk that night. Anything else, Ward? Tetris 99, Sea of Thieves?
That, I believe, is all.
I'm gonna go next. I don't like going last. We'll say Brittle for last. It's weird going last and then having to kick it to break. It always feels strange. I finished Half-Life Alyx, which is boy oh boy, what a man. I really, really, really like it. The Half-Life story they tell is fucking bananas, absolutely bananas. Like, if you don't own a VR headset and care about the Half-Life story, I would very much recommend watching kind of a playthrough of maybe like the last, I don't know, 20 minutes of that game, half an hour of that game, maybe. I'm not even really going to talk too much about it, other than there is a very good swerve, a tremendous swerve that really like put my jaw on the floor. And then there is some after credit stuff that you definitely fucking want to stick around for. And I'll just say I can't wait for the next Half-Life in 16 years, I guess.
Hell yes. They've set the table.
It is... I cannot talk about without going into specifics, but the thing that they do to the Half-Life universe is fucking crazy in a way that, like, it doesn't make good on the way they left that series for so long, but it acknowledges it, I'll say, in a way that I'm like, yeah, wow, this is, man. Well, maybe I'll do a like very short little solo Alex spoiler cast or something at some point in the future for the folks who would like to know what happens, because I would really love to talk about it. But do
For the
not have
headset
access.
elites.
Yeah, the headset for the headsetless elite, or for the headsetless by the headset elite. It's, man, top to bottom. I mean, it's an okay VR game. It's like kind of a very good horror game where you're kind of crawling through dark train tunnels for most of it. And as far as the actual gameplay of it goes in VR, it's very well made and very polished. It doesn't do anything like revolutionary. I really wish you could change the gun hand. I can't believe that this flagship VR title, you cannot change which hand your fucking gun is in. That super sucks. That the gun is always in one hand, so you're always holding things in the other hand. And like you can switch it if you are left and right hand. You go in the settings, you can switch it, but then it's locked to that other hand. You can't freely move the gun, which feels really weird. But yeah, man, what a tremendous Half-Life story. That thing I never thought I would ever say again. I just, chills even just thinking about it.
I'll put you on the spot here, Matt.
Sure.
Best VR video game.
No.
Still super hot.
Yeah, it's definitely still super hot. Or like even, I would even probably put Beat Saber. Like, I'm never going to go back and play Half-Life Alyx again, you know? But I'll go and I play Beat Saber every fucking day, and I play super hot, like, on a weekly basis.
Big games.
Yeah, not better. Different. Very different. And it was
It's a story-driven VR experience that I feel like there have been no real successes up till this point.
Totally. And
I mean, I guess Super Hot is to an extent, but that kind of single-player narrative-driven shooter that we're used to, getting it onto a VR headset, I can't think of another example that's really tried.
And it leverages the VR stuff into some of the storytelling in ways that is pretty spectacular. Some of the stuff they do at the end of that game is things that you could only do in VR, and they do a really good job of like, even just like the sense of scale, the sense of being there and looking up at a massive, citadel in the middle of City 17 that goes into the clouds. It's really incredible. If you have a VR headset, this is kind of the thing to play. I would really highly recommend it. And then I continue to play.
It'd be weird if you had a naked scene, like with you in the shower or something, and to look down and see a noticeably different sized cock.
I don't think they would have the cock in the game. I think that might be a mod.
Alex, well, I don't know if Alex herself would have the right anatomy for that, but...
I thought Alex was a boy this entire time.
No, Alex is the daughter of Eli Vance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That would be even weirder.
That would be much weirder. Not impossible with the way that
level of weird.
the way that some of this stuff goes. Certainly, anything is possible in Half-Life. It's the greatest, most ambitious crossover event in history. And then I get to play the Dark Souls remake, which is very good. And I don't have a ton to say other than I'm going to cross my. I was looking at my Steam timers. I'm going to cross my 500th hour of the From games this week, which will be pretty exciting, between Dark Souls 2, 3, Sekiro, Bloodborne, coming up on 500 hours. And for the first time in... Well, this is only my second time playing through Dark Souls, but for the first time in any of these games, I kind of think I know the story they're telling a little bit. I'm not so arrogant to assume I have it all. But I've read all the item descriptions, and I have done my research, and I've watched hours and hours and hours of videos, which I've been really enjoying, and I've read more than a couple essays, and I think maybe I kind of get Dark Souls a little bit. I don't know. It's very oblique.
Do you really want or need to get Dark Souls?
Yeah, no, it's good. There's a definite like through line. There's like characters are doing events and changing the world and showing up other places, and I like it a lot. I don't know. I feel the better for it, having put the time in. And
that's all that matters, I suppose.
And it's a weird thing having played these games for so long and having the kind of the story and the lore be just this completely secondary thing that I don't engage with at all. A little bit in Bloodborne, because Bloodborne's a lot more forefront and you know, characters have names and things. But Dark Souls, like, who even knows what the fucking story is? You're just lighting bonfires and killing bosses and stuff.
It's a metaphor.
It is a metaphor. It totally is a metaphor, but it's also a literal story with characters, it turns out. And they're interesting. It's very interesting having, like, going through again for the whatever time through these games and being like, oh, I kind of get this now, if that makes sense. I know it sounds super fucking hipstery, and I've read. Who would have thought I would be reading essays on themes in Dark Souls here in the year of our Lord 2020? Strange times.
I mean, yeah, if someone took the time to write it.
There's a lot. There are like PhD theses on some of these concepts. I mean,
I'm sure, like, without thinking too hard, I'm sure I could think of something, an equivalent to what you're thinking of, where it's like, well, I don't know that anyone needed to know all this, but I intend to make myself an expert on it.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. It's cool. It's very cool. I'm starting to get really, really excited for Elden Ring, the next From. That's the George R.R. Martin From Software.
Yeah, me too. I'm in on soft now. I'm a more soft kind of guy, sophomore kind of guy.
Hell yeah! You finished Sekiro, right?
I did.
That was
to this date among probably my top 5 greatest gaming achievements.
Yeah, I think it's the. I mean, I go back and forth. I think Sekiro, the game overall, is the hardest From game. So I think you. Like playing through Dark Souls now, Dark Souls is hilariously easy. I have not died on a single fucking boss, and I've been playing like a stupid idiot. That's not true. I think I did die once because I was being stupid and like, what happens if this won't kill me? Oh, it did. But it's so crazy how slow that game is now, especially compared to Sekiro, where like, it's almost like you're playing in slow motion. It is insane how easy it is once you kind of adjust and you're like, oh, I can just block. I can just hold block this whole game. This is wild. It is super, super slow.
Because there's no, like, posture meter or anything.
No, there is.
That's so fucked.
I mean, there is kind of, you do have a stamina meter, but it's like, it's nothing like the posture meter in Sekiro. It's just a bar that, like, don't let it get empty.
Some checks and balances, like, it's a different game than Sekiro in a lot of ways, but for me, the thought of not needing to manage that posture, how many times I died, and I was like, if they take this fucking posture meter out, I wouldn't die once in this fucking video game. It
is so crazy how different you play it. Like, it is... Dark Souls is this slow thing where you're like... Because there's a backstab mechanic. And in Dark Souls especially, it's really, really powerful. So you're kind of just always circling, looking to backstab. And, like, it's sort of going back. It is blowing my mind at how far those games have come. They're so good. Except for Dark Souls 2, they're so good.
I'm excited for whatever's... Well, like you said, that Martin one is next, but even something on the Sekiro branch, and I think I'm going to get into Neo 2 maybe. I know that's not a From game, but maybe. I remember, so before Sekiro happened, Neo was the farthest I had gotten in a Souls-like.
Yeah. Neo
So
was.
maybe there's something there. Or maybe now that I've played Sekiro, maybe I'll go back to Neo or go to Neo 2 and be like, well, this is fucking garbage.
Neo was kind of ironically the one I bounced off of.
Mm-hmm.
Too many. I remember there being so many
Sekiro is
systems
the uniter.
In Neo. I remember there being like combat stances and 5 different types of parries and 4 different bars and 18 different consumables and there's just a purity to Sekiro, you know? You don't have armor. You don't have weapons. I guess you have alternate weapons in Sekiro. Purity to it. Brando, what have you been playing?
I finished RE3.
Give us the alt take. We heard my less than positive take on it last week.
Yeah, so I am definitely warmer on it. In fact, I really actually liked the ending. Specifically the second or the last boss fight. The second last boss fight, not as much. But I will say with you, there is no reason for that to be an $80 game.
Yeah.
Like drop the multiplayer, and you could have bolted that onto RE2. And it felt like it was made with that in mind. Some of the reasons that I like it a lot better than you is I really actually liked the police station. Whoops. I really actually...
Spoilers.
Spoilers. I really actually liked the environment you returned to in RE3.
Oh, there's more than one.
Sure, but I won't go any further than that. Because of the way they interweave that stuff into the story. In terms of what you witnessed in RE2, I ate all that stuff up. And for me, it was worth going back to those environments, even though that is obviously a cost-saving measure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I liked it. It was just more RE2 for me. It was not as good as RE2, but it was, I thought, a very good video game that was too short and shouldn't have been $80.
Did you find it, like, I remember RE2 being scary in the beginning. Did you find 3? I did not feel really a single minute attention in 3. I just felt like I had infinite bullets pretty much the entire time.
I mean, there's hunters that were fucking terrifying me late in the game, until I kind of figured out how to deal with them. Like those guys with the big claws, and they can kind of one-shot you.
Yeah, it
seems like they feel like it.
Could you figure out why? I would just sometimes you could take 3 or 4 hits and you're like, okay, I know I can take 2 more hits and then I got to heal up. And then sometimes they would just kill you in one shot. And you're like, what the fuck?
A specific move, an animation they were doing that was their one-hit kill. I just couldn't figure out what was making them do it.
Similarly, by the end of that game, I could never figure out what was making them do that one-hit kill. I'm like, oh, I guess,
I figured out kind of how to avoid it, which was more to just run kind of towards them into the side a bit, and they'd just go sailing past you.
Mm-hmm.
But
I learned late you can punch them and it stuns them.
Yeah, well, we were talking about that on the last podcast, and I thought that Carlos just had a super shitty dodge for
no, it's a punch.
90% of the game, and then I realized it was a punch.
Yeah, somebody in chat had to tell me, they're like, why aren't you using your punch? I'm like, what are you talking about? It's a dodge. Like, Carlos does it weird, but it's, oh fuck, it is a punch.
I have to ask you said you turned the difficulty down on one part.
Yeah.
Was it like the almost wave-based zombie thing?
Yeah, that exact part.
Yeah, that part was easily the hardest part of the game.
Yeah,
in a way that like
sucked.
I didn't turn it down because I actually got it done on the second try, but it felt fucking like artificially hard compared to the rest of the game, and then just dropped right back down to a pretty easy game after that.
I would get most of the way through that, and then those hunters would do that weird one-shot thing that I could not figure out why was happening, and that was so frustrating of like, you get 15 minutes into this sequence, and I guess I'm dead and have to do the whole thing again.
Yeah, there are
5 times.
There are ways to deal with the hunters that I found like quickly before they really even have a chance to get an attack off. That I don't know if I should get into here, if we should just let people figure it out.
Yeah, I'll let them figure it out.
Yeah, but it was like the hunters were like the scariest part of that game for me for a long time because I just didn't know how to handle them, which worked because I was terrified. But didn't work because it's frustrating to not be able to get the read on an enemy where it's like, this is going totally well, and then you decide to do this one-hit kill that I don't really know how to dodge. At least not reliably. So yeah, I don't know. I came out of that game quite a bit hotter than you, but it's undeniably short for the money you have to pay. So I would 100% wait for a sale. But it was more of that game. So if you like that, RE2, I think this is not as good, but like that same like zombie sway where you're trying to manage your ammo and everything, like that stuff that made my palms sweaty about RE2, it made my palms sweaty in RE3 as well.
Yeah. I don't know. I just felt like I had so many machine gun bullets that the way I eventually got through that sequence was I realized I could just never stop shooting. And they always, when they spawn ammo, they spawn in groups of like 120, I think. And I also realized that they'll never run you out of ammo. That is always the fear, but like that would be kind of a bad, if you could get yourself into a situation where like, oh, I saved and I'm fucked.
In the arena they put you in, you could go into the arena they put you in with no ammo, and there's enough ammo in that arena to probably get your way through.
Yeah. There's a spot, in fact, that it spawns. Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
And I like, the more I thought about it too, it's the more like, they have to spawn you ammo, because otherwise you get into a spot, okay, I have no bullets, I use a typewriter, now I'm like, I saved myself into a corner. Do I restart the game at this point? What do I do?
And that is how my like fill all 50 files on the typewriter with slots was born, was in RE2, where RE2 did a phenomenal job of making you feel like you were just about to fuck yourself ammo wise.
Oh yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'd be like, oh no, I'm in great shape. I'm fucking full health, got some healing, got tons of ammo, let's go. And then 2 rooms later you're like, oh, I can picture myself going back 3 save files now.
Asking pretty bad. I heard they're remaking 4.
But you're right that...
Sorry.
Yes. I didn't know if we were going to get to that news, but maybe this is where it makes more sense. In 3, I will say that Carlos is just a different feeling character than Jill in 3, and either of them in 2, where he seems like he is there to give you that sense of power against the zombies. In the same way that 7 had a moment, and I love 7. It was my game of the year it came out. 7 really has the moment where it's like, okay, you've been crawling around on the floor avoiding zombies for the last 5 hours. Now for the next few, we're going to give you just incredible power and go mow them all down.
Yeah, I think, and I think maybe like the original 3, I think is apparently quite short as well. In a world where 3 wasn't quite so short, it would be, like you say, it probably would feel a lot better. Almost, I think all my issues with the game of like there being no, like there's just no lead up to you having all the guns. It sounds like that just wasn't Resident
so
Evil 3.
Compressed.
Yeah, I'm like looking for a thing that didn't actually exist in the world.
It really feels like this remake that they're going to do with 4 is going to kind of point the arrow on what I think about this whole remake franchise, where it's like, if 4 is great, I can totally see looking back at 3 and being like, well, the original RE3 wasn't really much to write home about. Maybe they were just like, we'll put something just to kind of bridge the gap and then get right on to 4, which is a game people have super fond memories of. Or if they fuck up 4, I'll just always remember RE2 being amazing and not caring past that.
4 is going to be a really weird one, because like the tone...
4's charm seems to be in its oldness.
Yeah, and well, so 4 is like kind of one of the modern 4 still plays fine today. Like I played 4 in the last 2 months or whatever.
But the story's super fucking weird.
The story is so fucking weird, and that's the thing, is like these new remakes, it's like grounded. There's a sense of like this is a real world, and people are still doing anime shit at times, but 4 is like short little zombie Spanish pirate lords and giant walking mech statues and like goofy
what the fuck is that
castle
kid gonna
traps.
look like in this new engine?
I know. It's gonna be so fun. And like, are you gonna have Ashley following you around for most of the game? Like, is that whole like Leon gonna be a thing?
She can come, but she can't get hurt.
They're gonna have to do some real fucking work with. Well, there's a part in 2 where you escort whatever her name is, not Ashley, the other little girl, around for a while.
Yeah, that she was only a Claire side thing.
That's
I only did Leon, and she was not in it, which made me happy.
4 is such a weird game that it is going to be. And like Leon sucks in 4. One of Leon's first words in 4 is literally bro. where that little pirate lord has Ashley or whatever. He's like, "Oh, we're going to sacrifice her, Leon," whatever. And Leon's like, "I don't think so, bro." Like, Leon fucking sucks. Right? I would hope so, but at the same time,
you have to think that they're going to be viewing this as very much a sequel to RE2 remake, right? Like, this is probably going to be the same Leon we got in RE2.
Yeah, definitely
remake. So update everything. Update the Tude.
Yeah.
Please.
What? There was one more. Damn it! There was one more thing I was just thinking about from Resident Evil that I totally just lost. That's okay. I'm sure there's
a
lots.
lot of like, "Oh, you want to date me?" and stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
there's a lot of weird stuff between him and the president's daughter.
A lot of weird stuff with. Is it Carlos? I never even thought about it. Who's I don't know who it is. There's a Spanish dude or I don't know if he's Spanish, but there's a dude who sounds a lot like Carlos in 4. Is that Carlos? He's like, "Oh, you are better with the ladies." Like, dude, that's the president's daughter that you're fucking talking about.
Together. Yeah. How old is she?
She's 18.
Okay.
Yeah, we did the research before we played it on stream.
Just in case, yeah.
Yeah, listen, exactly. I knew where. I've run a live stream or two before. Okay, I know where these things go.
Yep. You don't want to get caught in those situations.
That's exactly right. Yeah, Resident Evil 4 remake will be fucking wild.
Mm-hmm. I'm excited. I'm not gonna. I don't want people to jump down my throat because I'm saying because I'm saying that, like, oh, now I've played Resident Evil 1, 2, and 3, because I know that's not true. There were very different games back then. Mm-hmm. But just to kind of have some general sense of the story and know, like, kind of what Nemesis was and everything. Between 7, which is a totally different thing, and the 1, 2, 3 remasters / remakes that I played, I feel like I'm finally starting to bridge that gap of what everyone really, really liked about Resident Evil.
Yeah, I mean, I've only played 2 remake, and for me, like, I said, yeah, I know the story too. And it didn't have Mr. X originally, I don't think, but whatever.
No. Mr. X is way better than Nemesis.
Nemesis is boring.
That's an easy win for RE2.
Nemesis is like, because he's only there are scenes when there are Nemesis, and when Nemesis scenes aren't happening, you're like, I'm fine. Nemesis won't show up. Mr. X though, he can show up anytime.
It's tough to not spoil anything, but there were some parts with Nemesis where I was like, this guy's pretty dope.
Yeah, he's pretty cool.
He picks up a thing.
Oh yeah,
he should not be picking up as a zombie. That. And I was like, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And terrifying.
Even Jill is like, oh fuck.
Yeah, this is trouble.
Jill is also a stupid fucking moron who 18. Every time Nemesis goes down, she's like, oh, he's dead. I'm gonna call someone on the phone and be like, hey, that thing is dead.
That too.
And then 1 second later, bursts out. Cut to next scene. Oh, I killed that thing for real this time. And like it just repeats itself.
The Xbox achievement popped the first time I beat him, and it said Nemesis defeated with a question mark, and I'm like, well, that's not good.
Yeah, we are all as dumb as Jill.
Yes.
What else you been up to? A couple more games I see here from you.
Yes. Really only one, because we talked about Sea of Thieves. Doom, the
other game I did not enjoy.
Yes. I will preface again by saying I have not hit the point that it really soured for you. I think on the mission list, I'm literally halfway through that game right now. And I'm playing on normal. I never really ran into the difficulty wall, but kind of everything we talked about on the podcast last week made me think I'm probably going to run into the point where this game pisses me off because of the difficulty. So maybe I'll just bump it down to normal now, and normal is what I usually play video games on. I was just feeling brave for this one. But I fucking really like Doom Eternal now.
You're in the heyday. You're in the honeymoon phase.
Yeah, like
you don't yet have to hold 2 button modifiers to get your 3rd ability wheel up.
Yes, no, that sounds like hell. But I'm really I've had a couple levels now with the pinkies, the guys that charge at you.
Yep, shoot him in the bum.
Yeah, shoot him in the bums, and like there's something for me super satisfying about the movement that you do to shoot them, where it's like they react too quickly for you to jump and land and turn. It's like this fucking corkscrews 360 you have to do to land facing them when you hit the ground. I've also a few times had them like heard the audio cue with them chasing me behind me and just double jumped backwards and had them like fly under my feet in a way that just, I was like, this game is fucking awesome. And every time I finish a level, and I'm doing a very completionist run, I'm not leaving the levels until I get all the items and Slayer gates and everything. And every time I finish, I'm on top of the world, and I'm just dreading when this system breaks under its own weight.
I wonder, it might not break quite as hard on normal. You might not run into that cliff that a lot of us smashed into up on Ultraviolence. What do you think of the writing and the story? Like, can you tell me what's happening? What planet are you on?
I think I'm still on Earth.
Oh, okay, that's a gimme then. If you're still on Earth, eventually you do go to other planets and
I went to the Super Gore Nest.
Super Gore Nest.
And then I literally that was the last level I did, and then I jumped into a new level for 5 minutes when we were doing sound test. And I feel like it's the ARC something. I don't know what it is. But I didn't really know what was going on in Doom 1 either.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt like Doom Eternal is trying to expand on this thing that was very simple in the first game. I'm like, oh yeah, that's funny. And then this is trying to expand on it, and I'm like, yeah, I don't really care. Yeah,
I think the issue is that kind of by the end of it, nobody cares, but they spend a lot of time and a lot of effort expanding on it, and like.
But I feel like they're not wasting my time in game with it. They're putting a lot of it in the codex, where I'm like, I'm shocked at how much they wrote for this game.
Yeah.
But I've never been in a situation where, like, the cutscenes have been overly long, where I'm like, well, this is fucking boring. Can I skip this? And
I look forward to hearing how that wraps up for you. There's a definite shift in the game that you'll notice it. The game will be like, hey, there's a shift coming. Do your things. Tie your shoes up, because here we go.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'm about at the 50% mark, and I'm fucking loving it. Like, it's my favorite thing I've played this year, far and away at this point. But
and like I was saying earlier too, like,
fucking tie my shoes up.
I'm an old cynic, and a lot of people really like Doom Eternal, and you know, hopefully you'll have the experience that I desperately wanted to have.
Yes, I hope so.
A lot of different, lot of room for different opinions in video games. Any other games here, anybody? Any closing thoughts here before we take our pee break and we'll come back to some news? We should probably just call it a break. I guess you can do a lot of things. You don't just have to pee, you know?
Could poo.
Yeah. Could do neither, even if you wanted to.
It's a good point.
Couple jumping jacks and a stretch.
Jumping jacks?
Yeah.
Oh!
Yanks! All right, let's take a quick jumping jack break, and we'll see you here on the other side of this musical break.
Pull up his news stories again.
Spin us a yarn.
Tail when we come back in here.
It all started in 2022.
Oh.
Dickety.
Dickety.
I was working yesterday. I was way south, getting shots of a business. We're doing a story on like impacts of small businesses. One of many stories we've done about that. And there was a specific small business that I had to get some shots of. So I was out south of Ellerslie, south of the Henday, getting shots of this building, and a skip driver pulls up to the building.
Like a skip the dishes?
And I'm like,
driver?
Skip the dishes driver. And gets out of his car in the parking lot. He looks like he's going to go towards the building that I'm shooting, which I'm like, yeah, that's fine. It's a business. They're probably ordering some food. And then he wanders over to me, and I get a good look at him, and I'm like, this guy looks familiar. And he's like, hey, you live on the West End, right? And I'm like, oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Like, he's like, oh, you get like Pizza 73 all the time, right?
Oh, no.
Like, oh, yeah. And it was like for Warren's reference, it was, we have two drivers that deliver to us often, one who always talks about the Oilers, and then the other one. And this was the other one. And He's like, "Oh, great!" And he just throws down the skip bag and pulls out like a milkshake and a brown bag, and he hands them towards me. And he's like, "These are for you." And I'm like, "No, no, man, I didn't order any. Skip the dishes." And he's like, "Oh, it must actually be for the people in this building. Then I just assumed you ordered this." And I'm like, "Man, I have a fucking problem."
It's like nightmare scenario is you recognize your regular driver and you just pray to God that he doesn't out you. Like, dude, what the fuck?
But he was
I
just
saw
like,
one at the grocery store one time that I like. We both like made eye contact too, and we're just like, nope.
Immediately turn around and both walk the opposite direction.
Yeah. Fuck this.
And just the way he was so confident when he saw me, he's like, "Oh, this guy gets food delivered to him religiously.
He's probably
I'll
relieved.
just take this over here." He
No,
just
my
was
buddy.
obviously out here working and was like, "Oh, here's the nearest address to me. I'll just get a skip driver to come bring me a milkshake when I'm working."
Specifically, my skip driver.
Yes, and not even like this guy is the guy who worked for Pizza 73. Like, I don't even get Pizza 73 through Skip. He's like the delivery driver for Pizza 73 as a company. And then
That's
fucking unless Pizza 73 has just started using Skip. Like, I don't think that's how that works.
I don't think that's how that works.
I don't know.
either.
I don't. Yeah.
He broke the code.
This guy obviously just has numerous jobs.
He broke the trust. He's supposed to, unless
Yeah, you
you
can't do
acknowledge
that.
him, he shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's like doctor confidentiality. He can't just, be like, "Oh, you're that guy with that terrible disease, huh?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude,
You leave that alone.
you a
Yeah.
You're
cop?
the guy who can't have
Sure.
kids.
Oh, goodness.
I was happy there was no one else around. Because as soon as I was like, "No, man, I didn't get any Skip. Thank you, though."
God, this is really embarrassing for me. Please leave.
Yeah. If you could just carry on. Then he's like, "Oh, okay." And just wandered off and made his delivery. And I got the fuck out of there. I wasn't even done what I was supposed to be doing.
That's really funny. What a weird,
Yeah.
small world.
Yeah.
Some news here. Speaking of weird, small worlds, gentlemen. Pulled this story. You might not have even seen it. Pulled it right before we started recording here. Has anyone seen the Sony patent? Top story tonight.
No.
Sony has patented a pet-like, quote, feeling deduction robot, which is a physical or virtual reality companion meant to sit beside you on the couch while you game and deduce your feelings, ranging from joy to anger to love and surprise, through things like photographic and audio data, and then respond appropriately using movement, sound, and even speech, which is that is the like patent. The way they kind of break it down is imagine a literal physical device. They show looks like a little fuzzy stuffed animal or something sitting beside someone on the couch. That someone is playing their PlayStation. And that someone is winning, and they're like, "Woo!" and they throw their hands up, and they're elated at their win, and then their little virtual pet robot deduces that they're feeling happy and also puts their hands up. It's like, "Yeah, you killed it in that game." Or
Okay, so you sold me. You've taken me from a hard note.
Yeah,
to a
I'm
hard
on
yes
board.
with one.
I'm on board.
here's the inverse.
Yes. This is even better.
Yep. Sony also envisages the robot being able to, quote, participate in the game as a virtual player and, quote, virtually operate the opponent team, which may result in the robot appearing to be sad if it loses a match. So you can play, really you're just playing NHL against the AI, but it's like your little robot friend on the couch is actually a second player.
Oh, I thought you were going to say that it'll rage with you.
Yeah, I think it might. I think it might also do that.
That's where I thought it was.
Where
Yeah,
if
but
you
this
get-
is even, what you've said is even better.
You get killed and
for
throw
me to
your
be able to
hands up.
taunt this thing.
You're like, "This is fucking bullshit." Then your little robot might be like, "Yeah, dog, that is fucking bullshit." Throw the bird up with you.
That'd be pretty good. That'd be pretty good. I would love to have a little stuffed animal beside me when I'm playing Apex,
I'll tell
eating
you
off my emotions.
right now, depending on the cost of this thing, I would love to get this for Andy, because he's a man who just screams at video games.
Yeah,
And I
he's
would
the
love to have
first
this
person.
thing there to just like
Why are you so mad, Andrew?
try and calm him down and see how long
Yeah.
it lasts before he fucking chucks it off his balcony.
I would love to just like, assuming as it isn't, but as I hope it is, an adaptable artificial intelligence. I would love to just come over to his house 6 months after buying him that and just have the thing cursing, just nonstop, just a string of
He's
curse
jaded,
words.
the stupid
Yeah.
robot.
It's a really weird, and a lot of these patents never actually turn into anything. It's weird. It reminds me of Seaman in a lot of ways. The game, not whatever you were thinking.
I never felt Seaman cared about me in a way that in the 5 minutes since I heard this existed, I feel like this thing will care about me.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Maybe Tamagotchis. Where did Tamagotchis go? Let's bring them back and let's have them steal our biometric data, I guess, at the same time.
They're listening.
Yeah,
everything's listening now.
Always.
So be ready for that. I've made my peace. I've traded convenience for the government knowing everything about me.
I mean, if the government's listening, I would sell out, no problem. I would take my money and stay quiet, you know what I'm saying? Wouldn't even be very much money if you're listening. The man. I'm very reasonable. Call my people. There's
I take less. I take less. I take $1 less.
I think so. There's a new XCOM game coming out this week, apparently. April 24th. What is that in podcast time? That is this Friday. Is that right? Yeah, Friday, because it is the 17th, which is also a Friday. A new XCOM game, Kevin.
Yeah, I'm kind of just reading through this thing. This can't be like a full game. It's
probably could be a full game. So I guess,
what is a full game?
What exactly? What is
it kind of makes me think that it's maybe like a 10-hour game at most. I mean, it's $10, which seems cheap.
I mean, it might be a 40-hour campaign built in XCOM 2, which is it would not cost them any development budget or whatever. It is called Chimera Squad, coming to PC, set 5 years after XCOM 2. I don't know, like Chimera Squad, obviously your squad of soldiers you're using are going to be genetically modified in some way, part alien, possibly. A little bit differently than traditional XCOM. Apparently there are 11 unique squaddies you're going to get instead of kind of the build your own soldiers and name them and do whatever. They say there's still going to be a strategy layer to it, kind of like the base building in the overworld, but instead of building a anthill style base, you are trying to manage rising unrest in a city. And yes, will be $10 at launch, and then goes up to $20 starting May the 1st. So if you get that first week of launch, it's half off, basically. No idea how long it's going to be as to a full game or what, but...
Does this interest you guys?
I like XCOM, yeah, hell yeah. I'll play some more. I will play some more XCOM, and this sounds like it might not just be more XCOM, which is cool. A spin on XCOM.
Yeah, I mean, $10 seems pretty cheap for an XCOM game, so...
Lose that in the laundry.
Why do I'm trying to get onto Steam, and it keeps popping up with the Xbox store, and I'm like, no, this is not what I want to do.
A mystery, certainly.
Yes. Kevin's going to work on that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's $10 American.
Oh, man, that's like fucking
full retail.
It's like, yeah, $30 Canadian right now.
$15 Canadian.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of games I wouldn't want to pay much more than $10 for, Fallout 76 has an expansion. NPCs, you guys. NPCs are finally coming to Fallout.
They've missed me.
Computer
Brandon only goes forward.
Computer-controlled characters. Apparently, it's getting pretty good, actually. The scuttlebutt around Fallout 76 seems to be that it's actually kind of getting there. New expansion. It's called Wastelander. Apparently, it takes the design philosophy back to Fallout 3 or New Vegas, which in my mind means 10,000 different factions, but like super binary factions. So if you're Team Red, Team Blue fucking hates your guts.
But doesn't really have any feelings about any of the other thousands of factions.
Yeah, that's correct. It's just the two that you are involved with, and the other ones don't really seem to factor in. They're adding companions, just like New Vegas and Fallout 3. They have story zones now, kind of similarly structured, I guess, to the Old Republic, which is... Old Republic does it. Whoever is kind of in charge of the game, whoever is the party leader in the game, kind of takes command of the story, but you are making like dialogue choices and things like that. And in the story I pulled this news from, which was off Polygon, they describe, and I don't know if this is an organic event or like a quest or what, but they describe walking into a NPC bar, like checking out this new expansion, seeing an NPC rob the bar, and then they sort of described that they had several ways to kind of resolve that. More than like a quest popped up, it's like you can talk to him, or you can shoot him, or you can do whatever. From the way this Polygon story described it, it sounded very much like a thing you would see in Fallout, where nothing pops up, but there is this little story happening in front of you that you can get involved with or not.
Right. It's funny you say this, and the first thing that pops into my head is Red Dead 2, and I just know it's not going to be as good as Red Dead 2.
Yeah, probably not even
use of that stuff. So,
but it does sound like it's getting there. I feel like we've been living with this game for 1,000 years already. How long? Let's see. When did Fallout 76 come out? 2018, November 2018. So we're coming up on 2 years. I like good games. I don't know. I'm glad it's getting there. I'll probably never play it, but. Where are we?
That's the thing with me too. I think it kind of missed the boat with me. It would be different if this was some property that I was super passionate about, but even Fallout's got to be there at the beginning for me to get into Fallout.
Yeah, I like you. I need the zeitgeist to kind of propel me through most of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Valorant. We talked a little bit about Valorant off the top of the stream here. It has an always-on anti-cheat software. Which is, so if you have Valorant on your computer, that is the new, I believe it's 6-on-6, I also believe it's free-to-play, kind of Counter-Strike / Overwatch fusion coming from the folks who made League of Legends, open beta right now, closed beta right now. But if you have it installed on your computer, its always-on anti-cheat software is constantly running and doing things, looking through your computer, literally combing through your files, presumably looking for cheat software. Constantly, all the time, even if you're not launching the game. I just boot my computer up. I just need the computer on to do the podcast today. That Valorant anti-cheat software is still running, is still using my system resources, is still scouring through shit on my computer. Which, like, from a computer standpoint is one thing. Having it run all the time is no good. Fuck that. And just from, like, an ethical standpoint is another thing of, like, I don't want any system running all the time on my computer without my consent, even if it is anti-cheat for this game.
Cheating in Valorant is way more important than your privacy.
Apparently. And they say they're open to making changes, but they also have a whole long write-up on like why this cheat system has to always be online, and because people are working on cheats when they're not online, when they're not running the game, and it's a little fucked. I really want to play Valorant, but at the same time, like, listen, the Cookin' Mama game just came out with a whole bunch of like Bitcoin miners and shit installed into it, and I'm sure that's not what this is, but what are you guys doing? A couple very quick stories. The Minecraft ray tracing beta has started. Is only on the Windows Store version. So if, like me, you own the actually probably like Kevin as well, if you own the Java version, the Mojang version from 15 years ago. You might be able to redeem a free Windows copy, provided your account was not compromised like 99.9% of them were. But that ray tracing stuff, if no one has watched that Minecraft, like, I know we don't really give a shit about Minecraft here, but I still honestly think ray tracing is the like single biggest visual quality jump we've had since 480 to 720, since SD to HD. We can hear Kevin typing up. He's looking up the trailer right now.
He's here. Just on the table.
I'll be the judge of that.
The ray tracing stuff is fucking incredible. Even like go look at Quake 2. The Quake 2 with ray tracing. Look at the side by side. It is kind of a like fantasy technology still that takes a lot of computing power to get relatively little results. It's not quite there yet, but it is. When it is working, like the stuff in Control is truly just jaw-dropping. It is so unbelievable the way that it looks like a totally new game. Like all you're changing is lighting, really? It looks like you're getting in there and redoing the entire game. It's wild. I would really recommend. If you haven't seen, if you are not yet a believer, if you haven't started drinking the ray tracing Kool-Aid, go look at some of those side-by-sides. It is mind-blowing. Single biggest quality jump. And then my last story, a Crysis remaster, which is adding ray tracing, apparently, is coming to PC, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. I I pull the story only because Crysis is like that game that people use to stress test their GPUs even today. So to have it running ray tracing is gonna be fucking stupid and just melt computers again. But I don't know.
Computers started being able to run it, so they had to find a new way to melt them.
Yeah, Crysis not great to play. I don't know. I've played it when it came out and I've played it a few times over the years, and it's fine. But like. It is just going to be another shooter today. You fight Korean soldiers and they speak Korean, and I always thought that was neat, that it was a real in-world country and not like, we couldn't say Korea, so we made a fake country.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Korea. Maybe I shouldn't open my big mouth now that I say that. But I remember being a real place and like a real enemy force speaking a real language, and I always thought that was really neat. But other than that, It is kind of just an open world shooter, I think, by today's standards. And that's the news. Podcast at TalkingReckless.com is an email address. Let me try it again. Podcast TalkingReckless.com is an email address. I leaned way into the mic so that the folks at home, the folks on the other side of the internet, could hear that one with us. Say it with me now one more time. Podcast at TalkingReckless.com is the email address.
Podcast at TalkingReckless.com.
Write in here to the show, or you can drop these on our Discord. Just go to TalkingReckless.com to find that. Chance wrote in and said, I believe this actually came off the subreddit on r/TalkingReckless. He said, hello to the newest Dragon Ball Z podcast. Hello, Chance.
Hey.
80-person battle royal. The newest Magic the Gathering arena has a surprising pre-order bonus. If you order 50 of the new booster packs before it's released, you get 10 Godzilla-style cards, basically skins for some of the cards in the game. They range from Godzilla to King, I'm going to butcher some of these, King Ghidorah, I believe, to multiple different Space Godzilla styles. What is a film crossover you would like to see in a game? Chance is correct. The new Magic set literally has Godzilla in it. By name, Godzilla is a Magic card in the new Magic set. Is there a new movie coming out or something? Like,
no, not that I know of. There was a new movie. Well, there was a movie last year, I think.
Yeah, like a while ago, right? King of Monsters was 2019.
King of the Monsters, yeah.
There's Godzilla versus Kong, but is this a full proper? I don't think this is a like full cinematic release. No, it doesn't seem like it. It's really that crossover with Magic seemed really weird to me, where it is like big named. It is Godzilla and Ghidorah apparently. What are some? Where's the question here? What is a film crossover you would like to see in a game? Other than the Fast and Furious ones that we all want and need. God damn it.
I think it would be very cool, but very expensive and a lot of work, to the point that I'll only bring it up in this Fantasyland question, for Overwatch to have all their heroes skinned as different Marvel superheroes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be...
Yeah, that would be cool.
Mm-hmm. Like you could have Farah being an Iron Man and Tracer being a Quicksilver. Or,
yeah, they could do a lot. That would be like, can you imagine the money behind that deal?
Yeah. Yeah. To the point where maybe a more realistic answer is like, maybe put a skin on 4 of them.
Yeah. The least ambitious crossover event.
Yes.
Film crossovers with a game. Fiddle, Kevin, any thoughts?
I don't know.
I'd like to see I've been playing a lot of Dark Souls recently, and would really love a kind of I don't know what form it would take. I would love to do something with that combat in the Lord of the Rings universe. Like Peter Jackson's, you're already up on tall walls and shit, and going through caves, and like, what if these caves were the Mines of Moria instead of just these dark caves, you know? Or what if this castle was like, I don't know, Dol Guldur instead of this tall pointy castle?
What about like Cook Serve Delicious, but Breaking Bad and making meth?
Cook, serve, and then is delicious already all caps? I don't know. I feel like we could still call it Cook, Serve, Delicious. We would just have to get a little creative.
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a very good one. I don't watch a lot of movies anymore is the problem.
Mine would be Star Wars. I just don't know what game I want it in.
Sekiro. but done properly this time.
Like you could probably do the same thing, like Overwatch. Throw some skins in there.
We had a lot of Star Wars games. This is like a chance to okay, Dark Souls, but it's Dragon Ball Z. This is like a chance to get film crossovers that we don't see.
All right, I want a fighting game, but I want all the characters to be Arnold Schwarzenegger characters over the course of all of his movies.
Oh,
Well,
that's
pretty
good.
Fuck yeah. There is a real. I would like to play
win?
Death Stranding if it weren't Death Stranding. We do a film crossover, gameplay of Death Stranding, but no Princess Peach.
You know, honestly, Death Stranding would make a good Lord of the Rings thing too.
Is it just because it's all that like black rock and green moss? Like it kind of looks like.
No, more like the process of like the arduous journey
Oh yeah.
from one side to the other.
Oh, that'd be good.
Where like,
actually.
I'm picturing more of a game where you only make one trip, maybe from one spot to the other. Don't have to make too many deliveries along the way, but maybe a lot of fucking terrain navigation and
Yeah. Oh,
and
what about like
monsters that you have to get away from, but you can't really fight.
what about like Mad Max, but it's Death Stranding? Instead of monsters, it's like other people trying to steal the fuel that you got to bring to this settlement, and you're in
That's
cars.
pretty good too.
Fuck, that would be pretty good.
I should put Rocky in Punch Out.
This is a little unrelated, but this would be a very, if there is such a thing, this would be a good time to, or maybe a bad time to play Death Stranding. But Death Stranding would hit very differently if you played it right now than it did at release.
Yeah. Yes, the theme of loneliness
Yeah.
will echo loudly.
Isolation, all those fucking preppers.
Yes.
We are all preppers now.
Yeah.
Podcast at talkingreckless.com. The email address, unless
I mean,
anybody
you
has any
could-
last minute ones to.
Yeah, going back kind of hitchhiking on Kevin's, I would stick maybe an Arnold Schwarzenegger character into Doom as the main character is Doom in Doom as the Doom Slayer.
You think
You could do so
Like just
many
have
things
voice
with
lines
that.
and
you think you
yeah.
do Terminator? Like what are Arnold characters who isn't the Terminator?
No, I want something more like human, like maybe the guy from Total Recall, so someone who's like super strong but not a machine.
Last action hero.
Arnold.
Yeah, I was about
Yeah.
to say the guy from Last Action Hero would be perfect.
Jingle
Yeah.
all the way.
There you go.
You could also see like replacing the dude from God of War as like Conan,
Ooh.
and it would be basically
yeah.
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Well, there's a real have you played New God of War, Kev?
I fell off it. I didn't like it.
Now that now that we figured out that PlayStation share thing, if you ever want to give it another shot, we
I have a
the
copy
means
of it.
now. There's like a real emotional story they tell, like a very well written, but nuanced for most of it. There's just some rough spots, I know, but New God of War is like really shockingly well written. It's so good.
I swear to God, if you're okay, I thought this was heading towards you bashing Arnold as
No. I was just,
I was. About to say, if that's the
I
case,
felt
then
Kevin
no,
wasn't
we can't
doing it.
have Arnold in there.
I thought Kevin was like poo-pooing God of like, well, basically the same game. Like, sir, okay, come on now.
No, Conan.
we were all
and
worried someone else.
The
was doing
character
something.
are the same thing.
Arnie doesn't have the chops. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so now
I
you've
believe
walked
no,
into the
I-
territory I was worried about.
I am a god boy. It'd be bad. It'd be bad. Podcast at talkingreckless.com is an email address. You can write your thoughts in here. Might as well. I mean, we're all sitting inside. Why don't you write it? How are you enjoying Doom or Animal Crossing? Or there have been a lot of great I guess like anecdotes out of Animal Crossing that I've been hearing from other podcasts. I would love to hear yours. If you have there's like one villager. I'm trying to think who it is. Maybe it's Pietro. I don't know. I'm gonna say maybe I'll just close my
Of
mouth.
other podcasts.
Yeah, I am.
Maybe I think you're right.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of really incredible like anecdotes out of Animal Crossing. I would love to hear yours. Why don't you write them in podcast.com.
I feel like the people who hit, who like jumped in both feet and were really working on the min-max style, which is not me and it's not Warren and it's probably not even Andy. although he's the closest. But I feel like those people who are like, I gotta maximize everything I can do in a day. Those people, it feels like at all the same time across different podcasts I've listened to, have hit the. I'm at just check in every day now. Like I'm as beat the game as you can be. And now I'm just kind of coming up and picking the weeds and maintaining things and everything, but I'm done.
There is a whole, and again, I only get this kind of secondhand, but there's like a whole secondary market has sprung up, and I guess Nook Mile
Turnip
tickets.
market?
Well, turnips, yes, but because of turnips, a whole market behind that of like, I got the good prices, so I'm going to charge people Nook Mile tickets, NMTs, to get into my. If you want to.
Can you pass Nook Mile tickets to people?
Listen. I'm just telling you what I've been told. If you want the good turnip prices, you got to bring either this one specific song by KK Slider, or you got to bring the NMTs. You know what I'm saying? It's fascinating. The whole like because that turnip
just honor system.
I have no idea.
Like, I wonder what the process of the trade would be.
Yeah, there's a whole.
You have to give the item first.
There's a website now that like rates you. Other people rate you, so if you have a 1-star rating because you fuck somebody over, maybe they're not going to trade with you, and like it is
so fucked.
It is crazy. The whole like cottage industries that have sprung up in service of the stock, the STALK stock market, the turnip market. Podcast at talkingreckless.com, your place for all those stories. Or drop them on the subreddit r/talkingreckless. We do another podcast called Rolling Reckless. That's a D&D podcast we do every Sunday. We'd love to have you go listen to that. Just look up the feed on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Rolling Reckless. And if you enjoyed this madness, please consider supporting us over on patreon.com/talkingreckless. We got that. Hang on, I'm forgetting my own Patreon URL. Patreon.com/talkingrecklesspodcast. Talking Reckless Podcast. That is correct. I don't know why my brain stopped. I'm going to look right now. Let's see. I can't do math this fast, and it doesn't add them up. 104 audio releases.
Thousands of hours.
Yeah. Probably, maybe not thousands, but probably approaching 1,000. 52 videos, 153 podcasts. There's a ton of Patreon exclusive content up there for you. And it helps support this show. So if you want to check that out, I would very much appreciate that. That is all I have to say other than, oh shit, hang on, callback. I can do this. Hinged Nutria. Thank you very much for joining us.
Oh, you're welcome.
Brandon Lynch, thank you so much.
Yes, happy to be here.
Warren Barris, thank you, sir.
You got it.
And you at home, thanks so much for listening, for keeping this little podcast on the air. Let's meet back here in 7 days, if not sooner, for Westworld. And we'll do episode 316 of the Talking Reckless podcast. We'll see you then.
Ooh.
I should have had a 316 stinger made.
And that's the bottom line. Because Matt Eads said so.
Woo! Woo!
Price check on a jackass.
Woo! Well, thanks for a excellent podcast. Hello, Zachary. We just wrapped up. Are you in the simulation? Fuck yeah, bud. Don't. Did you hear Byron Saxton's hell yeah?
I did not.
No, sir.
It's bad. Really? You, of all people, didn't hear it? That was like 2
I don't watch wrestling.
Raws before Mania. 2 Raws before Mania? 3 Raws before Mania?
Watch
we're
wrestling.
watching.
Oh, wow.
We're watching any of that.
Oh, wow. You guys really only watched Mania?
What
That
are
was
you
it, eh?
doing?
I watched that and the first match and then had to stop. There was no audience, and they were playing to the... It was first week with no audience. That's what it was. That's why I was watching.
Like, I've watched Mania and the Rumble, like, in the last 6 months.
Well, I mean, listen, we're doing 80-person Rumbles in Dragon Ball now, so you can probably just...
That's true.
Never look back.
I'm going to shift gears.
Yeah. What if I told you they turned the flying off? And they explain it like that. Someone's like, for this next match, we've turned the flying off. I'm like, what? What?
You can't do that.
You guys just fucking did some innate ability. Oh, that's wild. Well, bees, I'm going to turn off this Podbean. Go do some editing.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time, gentlemen. Another excellent podcast in the books.
You betcha.
I suppose I'll see you on Sunday, Kevin. You better buckle up. Heck of a little dungeon prepared for you.
Oh, I'm ready.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well,
Kevin,
I'm ready to die.
Did you actually not get my segue thing, or was that all part of the bit?
That was obviously part of the bid.
I wasn't. I legitimately. You sold me so good on that I was like, oh, maybe he legitimately didn't know, and I felt bad for calling you an asshole then because I was like, oh fuck, dude just didn't know.
When you're working so hard.
We got there.
Good.
I felt like I was in on the joke the entire time.
Also, props to Warren for not asking the question on the show.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that takes a real broadcast professional to wait until after the.
Just gotta let her slide.
We're not still live though, right? That
the stream is live, but none of this. We're just chit chatting.
Well,
We're just
Zach knows the truth.
Runes. All right, I better cut it before we unprotect the business anymore.
Shattering kayfabe here.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you very much, Zachary. Everybody at home. When I turn this off, everything will die, so we all got to say goodbye together. Goodbye, Kevin and Brad, everybody.
We're all